What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today. Tomorrow is the start of Survivor season 48. So I actually have 3 pages worth of notes on the players. I have kind of a predictions boot order that we are going to go by. And obviously, we won't truly know much about these people until the show airs, right? I mean, some people might be like, hey, I'm a big Tony Vlachos guy, right? Might not really play like him. I mean, there's a lot of people that in this group have said similar players, right? So obviously not everybody can play like the people they idolize their games after. So we don't truly know until tomorrow we get kind of a vibe of how they're going to play the game. For example, I know people were kind of very interested with Jelinski. Didn't start the game off hot, got booted. I mean, there's just, it's kind of like a vibe thing come the day of. So more likely than not, nobody's going to be perfect in these. So don't judge me if I'm dead wrong. I expect to be dead wrong. I just hope that some of these are relatively accurate, and maybe later this year, after the season airs, I'll come back and react to this video. But I want to transition this channel into a lot more content. Obviously, there hasn't been much, but with the NFL Combine coming up, with Survivor back, maybe in the future, some Deal or No Deal Island. Not going to do it since it's at the middle of the season, but kind of just recaps of shows, stuff like that. Try to really hit a stride here with the channel that I've stepped away from for quite some time. But we'll start it off with the Vula tribe. Now, I might pronounce names wrong in this. We won't fully know, or at least I won't fully know how to accurately say everybody's name or even these tribe names until I hear it on the TV. That simple. But I'm going to try my best to get these people right. First, on Vula, we have Cedric. He is 45 from South Carolina, who is a surgeon. Great, not ability, but quality to have, right? Being a surgeon, you'd assume you have a steady hand. If you get one of those challenges where you have to balance something, you'd expect Cedric to be a front runner, right? You'd expect him to do pretty well in it. Some words that he said to describe himself: dependable, determined, concisious. Not necessarily my favorite words to describe somebody, but he does model his game a little bit after Earl Cole and Sari. Likes the quiet confidence with Earl Cole. Wants to be social like Sari. Love that. If he can adapt and make his game like those two, stands a pretty good chance. He wants to play with adaptability and reliability. But Cedric, I look at his profile and I like what I see. Next, I don't want to spoil things for when I have my rankings of what I think the boot order is going to be or whatever, right? I don't want to spoil things, but something about this guy, man, I just don't get it. I just think that we might be, not to say he's a bad guy or anything. I think he might rub people the wrong way, and it's Justin, the pizzeria manager from Maine, or is it Massachusetts or Maine? Whichever one MA is. I only wrote MA. I think it's Maine. 29 years old. Says compassionate, hardworking, resilient. Those are things, great qualities to have. Likes Tyson, another Survivor legend, right? People always talk about Tyson and being kind of a macho guy, but also a guy that I think kind of an underrated strategist. But he wants somebody to be in a partner. He wants somebody that is able to bounce ideas off of each other. That's okay, right? But the thing is with this group, I'm not really. I'm actually going to save it. I'm going to save it for the rankings and my explanations. But Justin, not as in love with what I'm seeing off of his profile as I was with Cedric. Kevin, I like Kevin. got into the game because of Yule. Yule, obviously, one of the fun players to watch. But he wants to resignate his game and identifies with his game. He wants to model it after the David tribe, and specifically in that tribe, Christian, Nick, and Davey. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. All people that were fun to watch. And then also Caleb. And if you're Caleb, he's been one of the more fun new era Survivor players, right? So Kevin, I like the vibe with who he wants to play after. He wants flexibility in a partner in this. So he wants somebody that, hey, we might not be able to get this person this week, but if we work with so and so to get this person, next vote could go our way. I like the flexibility thing with Kevin. I'm a fan of Kevin. I'm a fan of Kevin. I mean, obviously that can change when the show comes, but just reading bios purely, just purely reading their bios and seeing their image that they use for Survivor on the websites. Purely off that, I think I'm gonna be a Kevin fan. I really do. He's 34, from California, works in finance. That's the one thing I don't like. Sometimes you see with some of these, and Cedric might have it too with being a surgeon, if you tell them your job, people might think higher of you in terms of, well, maybe Kevin's not the voice of the group, or maybe Kevin's not, he's number 2 to somebody else, but that other person doesn't have this job where they're thought to be this strategic mastermind, right? It's a little worrying there with Kevin, but I think he'll avoid it. I think he'll be relatively well off here in this game. But Kevin, I'm rooting for Kevin. Next we got Mary, 31, from Pennsylvania, a substance abuse counselor. The words that describe her, did I say the other? Kevin's words were energetic, social, and determined, by the way. But the words that describe Mary: chaotic, dynamic, thoughtful. Those words, I don't know. I don't like the word chaotic. That's the word I'm really harping on. She does, however, work in a tough job, substance abuse, obviously something that needs to be taken seriously, and I'm sure that she has a lot of experience relating to and or just like comforting people in positions where they're not at their best moments, right? So I think that she does have that advantage over some of her tribe mates, that maybe she will be able to connect on a more personal level to some of the others, and maybe that helps her string along her game and keep stepping forward. But chaotic, don't like it. She wants to model her game after Ben and Kinsey. That makes some sense. She wants to be a strategic player. Strategy is her number one thing when she's looking for who to pair with. Chaotic, don't like that term. I don't want to hear that you're already thinking about strategy. That you might come out of the gate too hot. So Mary does worry me if Vula does lose in the pregame, or not the pregame, the pre-merge. So very hesitant there with Mary. Sai. In this name, I might completely be mispronouncing, but I believe they're going by Sai. 30-year-old from California, in marketing. The words to describe him is outgoing, kind, driven. Wants to model their game after Marianne and Drea. Looks for authenticity. My apologies. And in a partner, right? Wants to pair with somebody that is authentically themselves. Makes sense with Marianne being one of them. Wants to be social. I think Sai stands a pretty good chance to make it to the merge. Not seeing anything there that concerns me with Sai, so I think Sai's pretty well off for now. Stephanie. I'd be worried about Stephanie in the pregame, or the pre-merge. 38, from New York, a tech product lead. The words that go with her: ambitious, outgoing, resilient. Stephanie likes Natalie Anderson and Jam Jam. And Stephanie says, hey, if I get to final tribal council, I'm a storyteller. Can't let that get to the end. And I think that is something that might rub people the wrong way. I think that it's something that might come up in the pre-merge or early on in the merge that, hey, Stephanie knows how to talk, and hey, Stephanie, you need to watch out about Stephanie. So, Stephanie, another one that I think might be a product of just other people thinking very highly of Stephanie. So then we get to the Lagi tribe. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. First, we have Bianca, 33, from New Jersey, a PR consultant. I kind of battled with Bianca here. I'm not really sure what to put Bianca in when it came to the boot order. People seem to think highly of Bianca. Reading the profile, bold, friendly, enthusiastic. Fans of Dee, Kenzie, Marianne, Michelle. Way too many players model your game after. Dee and Kenzie, sure. Marianne, completely opposite of those two. Then you got Michelle in there. Seems to have an easy-to-like personality, but wants to play the game based off vibes. I don't know. There's just a few red flags in there for me. Vibes. I'm not a big vibes person when it comes to Survivor. I think you want to play like too many people here if you're Bianca. And a PR consultant, let that cat out of the bag. I think there might be a few red flags there with Bianca. So Bianca, we'll see when it comes to the game what Bianca's able to do, but I'm not necessarily blown away with the profile there. Eva, 24, a PhD candidate from Rhode Island. Eva describes themselves as energetic, driven, and competitive. Gonna model the game after Denise and Lindsay. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of Denise. I think Denise, one of the more underrated players in Survivor. Eva's going to be playing the game. I don't know if this is the first time somebody with autism has played Survivor, but even if it's not, Eva, great story. Somebody that has overcame autism and is a PhD candidate, and even I think Eva was on a hockey team. I think I read in the profile, refereed also, but loyalty will be number one to Eva. I think there's some challenge beast potential there. I think Eva might be one of those ones that could stand out as maybe a fan favorite. So watch out for Eva. Joe. I don't know. I don't know if there is an award to give out, but if there, I mean, I said it with Eva, maybe in the candidate there for fan favorite. I think Joe fits the bill. I really do. I think Joe will be that guy that everybody just. You might have people like some seasons. Obviously, you have like an 80-20, right? And then you got somebody that like everybody loves. I think Joe is going to be that guy that everybody loves. 45-year-old. From California, fire captain, describes himself as courageous, compassionate, loving. He's doing this to honor his sister, who I believe, unfortunately, and prayers go out to Joe and his family. Unfortunately, I believe the sister was lost to domestic violence, something that has no place in this world. Wants to honor her in this game. Wants to model the game after Cody, have a well-rounded game. Loyalty and being level-headed is what he's looking for in a teammate or a partner. He's a girl dad. I absolutely love what I'm read about Joe. I'm a big fan of Joe. Unfortunately, I don't know what that means for Joe, because if you have all that good story and you're real likable, it seems, and you kind of are able to get people on your side, which I think Joe will be able to do, people are going to look your way when the game comes down to it in the merge. So, Joe, I'm a big fan of Joe, but I'm worried a little bit about Joe when it comes to post merge. We got Shaheen. This name might be familiar to you. Big buzz from him from Survivor 46, was an alternate for that season. He is a 38-year-old from California debate professor. He was one that very kind, always trying to be on the right side, make a lot of friends. He's somebody that I think could get far or further than what I actually have him. But he worries me. I think he's going to come out as a big personality. I think he's going to come out playing the game too hot. I'm worried about Shaheen. But I do think he'll be one of the more fun characters while he is on the show. Wants to model the game after Jonathan Pinner. Wants to play a less pushy game than him, though. He's acknowledged already that he needs to play with a strategist. So maybe if they do get to the merge and maybe he matches up with like a Mary, it could work. The one thing I don't really like, he described himself as having been a little sensitive. If one thing doesn't go his way, how's Shaheen gonna react? I don't know. I'm interested to see what Shaheen can do. I mean, it seems like everybody will be aware of Shaheen. Like he'll be a big personality. How can he limit his threat level, though, is what I'm worried about with Shaheen. And then also being sensitive, not a good trait in Survivor. You take things personal, you blow up one time, say, hey, I didn't like that, whatever. You could be somebody's next target. So, Shaheen, I want to believe in you. I probably don't have Shaheen rated as highly in this boot order as I think he would like. He'd probably want to win the show. Spoiler alert, Shaheen I don't have as my winner. I know he is a popular winner pick. Shaheen, please don't come out the gate too hot, because I'm hearing a lot of good things about Shaheen, so that does worry me about Shaheen. Star, originally from Liberia. I think that might be the first. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Star is the first Liberian to be on the show. 28 years old, works in sales, says they're hilarious, smooth, laugh out loud, funny. Wants a family legacy here. Wants their son to play the game one day and also win. Wants to model the game after Marianne and Sandra. A lot of Marianne, I get it. So obviously a lot of people like how Marianne played the game unauthentically, like herself, right? Like unapologetically herself, played it with kindness, played it with who Marianne actually was. But I also like the Sandra thing. I love the Sandra thing because you know Sandra, if it ain't me, I don't really care. Anybody but me mentality. That's a good mentality to have in Survivor, in my opinion. Loyalty and honesty are number one. The one thing I am a little concerned about is Star is shy, but has a never give up attitude. So Star, I'm a big fan of Star when it comes to the profile. Thomas, 34, from California, a music exec. He is outgoing, emotional, loyal. Don't love the emotional part. Don't love it. But he encourages others, likes and wants to model the game after Sophie Clark, being an all-around type player. Wants to use shields. I like that. Find other people and put them in front of you. Thomas, I like it. He wants to play under the radar. I think he can do it. Thomas, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Thomas there. And then we get to the Siva tribe. The Siva tribe, here we have Charity, 34, a fitness coach, formerly in the ministry school, was also a flight attendant. Very interesting. Kind of wants to model the game after Tony and Jane. So Jane getting some love with this cast. From Michigan. Bold, fun, loyal are the words Charity used to describe. Wants to persevere. I think Charity is one that people on this tribe are going to flock towards in terms of wanting to work with. I'm getting, as who was it that said vibes, as Bianca said, I get good vibes off of Charity. I think Charity will know how to work with people. I also love the flight attendant part, right? The flight attendant part, obviously flight attendants work and see a bunch of different people every day, right? So I think you'll see Charity do pretty well in terms of relationship building. Then you got Chrissy. I'm gonna be rooting for Chrissy. I don't know exactly what Chrissy does in terms of this season, and I think Chrissy kind of got the short end of the stick. She's the only one that's not in her 30s. She is 55 in this tribe. Fire lieutenant from Chicago. Represent Chicago well, please. I'll be rooting for Chrissy. But Chrissy wants to show girls that they can do whatever they put their minds to, likes Carolyn, but unlike Carolyn, and she's willing to lie. Chrissy's willing to lie a little bit. She wants to be in a duo, it seems. She works out. Her biggest inspiration is herself. I've seen a couple of the cast members say that their biggest inspiration is themselves. I don't know. Chrissy, I'm rooting for Chrissy, but I'm kind of getting Sue vibes. I think Chrissy will hold her own in challenges. I really do. But I don't really see, unless maybe you get somebody, I don't know who it'd be, maybe like a Kyle or one of these other SIVA members that kind of do something you don't expect. I don't see Chrissy really forming great relationships with anybody. So I am a little worried about Chrissy. So I do get a little bit of Sue vibes here. I do get Sue vibes that she might just have to adopt the role of playing the tribe mother, because that might be the only way Chrissy moves on in this in this game if SIVA were to lose pre-merge. So I am worried about Chrissy, but I will be rooting for Chrissy, and I'm gonna say it now. If Chrissy's up there, probably my top 3 that I'd want to win. I'll say that. I'll be rooting for Chrissy. Don't think that I'm going to necessarily get those results, and that'll be reflective in my boot order. Next, we get David. David, 39, stunt performer from California, passionate, daring, curious. He's lived in various countries. He wants to model his game after Jonathan Young. Don't love that answer. Jonathan kind of just was strung along as, hey, you can win us some challenges, and then, I mean, people wanted Jonathan to win the game, right? Like, Jonathan, you can keep stringing him along there till the end, and then, hey, we just got to cut him loose. So David does concern me a little bit. Does seem like he will be a challenge guy. He values kindness in a partner, which is going to lead up to my next person. I think these two will be on a team here in this season, and I think it's going to be Camilla. I think Camilla and David, I think they're lined up. I think those two will be in a pair. Camilla, 31, Canada, a software engineer, silly, expressive, impatient words that are used to describe Camilla. Used to failing in life, failing at work, whatever. Which, before I even got to the person that that they're playing their game after, I was like, that kind of sounds like Mary Ann, not doing too hot in the beginning, learning, hey, I got to dial it back, and once dialing it back, Mary Ann won the game. Camilla wants to model the game after Mary Ann. And I think that's absolutely a perfect comparison from what I read. One thing that I actually did find interesting about Camilla, semi-pro Valorant player. You don't get the gamer community represented too much in Survivor, but there you go with Camilla. So shout out to Camilla for being a semi-pro Valorant player. think Camilla's going to be under the radar. Don't think going to be very high threat level. It's just going to be a matter of who can we afford to get rid of. I think Camilla's going to unfortunately be one of those expendable pieces. I don't think that Camilla's going to play into anybody's serious plans going further. I think Camilla is going to have that duo with David, but I think Camilla is one that, in order to get far into the game, I think she's going to kill you with kindness and just continue to be nice, and you're like, I can't get rid of Camilla. And that might be how Camilla wins the game. I mean, Marianne won the game, right? Why can't Camilla? Next, we get Kyle, 31. He's from New York. He's an attorney. Worried about the attorney thing, but I think Kyle will keep that cat in the bag. Described himself as fun, crafty, social. Love that. He has some. He taught a GED at a juvenile detention center. Do like that. I think he'll have the ability to connect with people and be able to work with whomever, whether that's Chrissy and that's why I said Kyle specifically when I was talking about Chrissy. I think he will be one that's able to adapt. And one of the things he said and he was looking for in a partner is he wants somebody that has an open mind in the game, wants to play a game similar to Davey and Jay. He wants to play an adaptable game, a relationship built game. That's why I think Kyle stands a good chance. I love Kyle's biography or whatever, his little profile. I think Kyle stands a pretty good chance. And I think Kyle holds a lot of cards on this Siva tribe. At least looking at it from just hey, we aren't looking at any spoilers type thing, or hey, we haven't watched the season yet. I think Kyle is pretty set in terms of he's going to be a major player this season. And then you get Mitch. Mitch doesn't strike me as one that's going to go win the game necessarily, but Mitch just strikes me as a guy that he's going to be in a good grouping. He's gonna just have the right alliance. 34, PE coach from Texas. He's a joyful, relational, competitive guy, like Spencer and Joe Anglin and Cochran. Those are guys that I think are pretty good. Cochran, out of that group, probably my favorite, but Spencer Bledsoe, one of the greatest players to not win. Spencer Bledsoe. Then he values somebody that's going to be easy to talk to and a good listener. I like that out of Mitch. He wants to find somebody that's level-headed. I think Mitch is just going to be one of those guys that's one of those solid guys that people are going to hate to see leave the show, but he's also somebody that people know they can rely on, and I love that from Mitch. I think that's an easy merge guy, a guy that's going to make it to the merge, and if he's in the right alliance, could make a good run. Then we get to my boot order. We already stated, I think, unfortunately for him, the Vula tribe will leave first. Sorry, I had to get my paper there ready. The Vula tribe will lose first, and with that being said, Justin, if you don't know already, not very high on Justin. I just don't think he will be one to connect with some of those people. I'm worried a little bit about Cedric in the Vula tribe because he's 45, but I don't really know where Justin would fit in where he'd fit in with his tribe. I think maybe you'll see Justin and maybe a Kevin be the two up for debate here. I think Cedric will. I mean, I might be wrong because he's older, but I think he might be able to find comfort in a Mary and maybe Sai, and be able to say, hey, I'm just Cedric. I'm not a huge threat. I just want to play a good game. I want to be dependable. I want to be a guy that's loyal to you guys, and I think Cedric might be able to get past that first round, whereas Justin, I kind of see him being a little. I think he'll play the game a little bit too up there in terms of too flashy too early, too much of a personality early, and I think that's not going to pan well for him. Justin, I don't see him making it to the merge. I hope I'm wrong. Justin seems like a fun guy. I just really don't feel. I don't feel it. I don't feel like he's gonna go very far. And so Justin's my first boot. Next, we have my next boot, Bianca. Bianca, like I said, I know some people very high on Bianca. I'm not one of them. Valued on vibes. Don't like that. I think you're probably going to see this vote if Logie is the group to go second as the second boot. I think this vote would be between Bianca and Shaheen. I think Shaheen is able to win over Star, Thomas, Joe, Eva. I think Shaheen is going to be able to win those people over, and I don't know if Bianca would be able to. I think Eva would probably be the not odd one out, but I don't necessarily see Eva fitting into my idea of what a grouping would be here, because I look at their descriptions, right? Star, I think, will probably team up. Now, this might be wrong. I think she'll be in alliance with Thomas. Both mention loyalty. I could see Joe joining that group as somebody, and then I kind of just see Joe and Eva too, maybe being a pair. And Eva will kind of just go where Joe goes. I don't think Eva will be in that main trio, but I think Shaheen and Bianca will be the two on the outs, and I think Bianca will be the one to go there. So I'm going to go with Bianca. Then I have Logie losing again, and this time it's easy. It's between Shaheen and Eva, and I think it's pretty easily Shaheen here. I don't think Star or Thomas really consider Eva. Joe, obviously, being in a pair with Eva, at least in what I assume the game will go, I don't think they will be like, hey, let's break up Joe's pair, even though Joe's working with us. Don't see it happening. Shaheen, too big of a personality, gaining too much attention too quickly. He's going to go. But the good thing is, at least we get 2 or 3 episodes out of Shaheen, because it sounds like he'll be fun to watch. Then we get to the one that is the first one for Siva. I have the next Siva being, well, I guess the first Siva being Chrissy. I just don't see Chrissy relating with much. The way I look at Siva is I think Charity, Kyle, and Mitch are going to form a trio. Kyle is somebody that I think holds a lot of the cards in the game. I think he's going to be the mastermind of Siva. Charity, I think, is going to be a solid number 2. I think Mitch is just going to go where the numbers are. So he's just going to be kind of the sidekick of those two to start the season. David and Camilla, I think, are going to be in a duo. Chrissy, the odd one out. I think instead of going for, hey, we're going to go for David or Camilla, I think David and Camilla could probably warm up to him, say, hey, we like Camilla, so we'll keep around David, I guess, and make it pretty easy. Chrissy, being 55, I hate to say it, Chrissy. I don't think Chrissy's going to go far. I hope she does. Represent Chicago, but I don't think it's happening. Then we got the Vula tribe. We got the Vula tribe next. So that is going to be Mary. We're going to go Mary. And I think Mary's just going to be seen as somebody that's playing the game too hard. I really do. Mary, thing that I said, playing the game, wants to be a strategist in the game. Worried about it. Chaotic. Might be a little messy in terms of what Mary lets out of the bag at Tribal and what the strategy is, and maybe Mary goes around saying, hey, Cedric, your name was out there, and Cedric goes around saying, hey, Mary's throwing my name out there, whatever. I think Mary might play the game a little sloppy, so I'm going to go Mary there, Vula at 14. Then we go back to the Siva tribe, and keep in mind, I'm a fan of this Siva tribe. I am a fan of this Siva tribe. Next, we get David. David, I think, between the two, like I said, if Charity, Kyle, Mitch do form that trio that I'm expecting, I think Camilla's the one that you think, hey, if we get Camilla to the merge, Camilla is going to kind of not necessarily be indebted to us, but loyal, and we don't have to worry about Camilla flipping. David, on the other hand, somebody that poses the challenge threat, could maybe go on their own run once it comes to the merge. Somebody that I just think is probably going to be more of a threat than Camilla. So there you go. David is out at 13. And then we get to the merge. Now, earn the merge, so this person will not actually merge. Ultimately being left out, and that is going to be Stephanie of the Vula tribe. Not exactly sure how the merge is going to work, but I just threw Stephanie's name out there because I only had one Vula so far taken out, and if, hey, there's a Vula available to take out, I think I'm probably going to get Stephanie out because she seems like somebody that might play the game a little too hard. Says that a good storyteller, so I'm sure people will have her on the radar pretty early on if she's a good storyteller. Says, don't let me get to Final Tribal. I can tell a good story and potentially win that million. Natalie Anderson, Jam Jam, both big personalities, people that won the game. I do not think that you let Stephanie go very far. You can't. I think Stephanie has qualities of a winner, and at the merge, knock out a Vula, Stephanie's one of them. Then at 11, I see Camilla. This is where Camilla goes. Unfortunately, the whole niceness thing ends there. I don't think that I don't think the Sivas have enough power there, and they're like, well, who can we go after? Siva, and then they kind of just concede, hey, we're okay to write Camilla's name down. We're not super attached to Camilla. Unfortunately, that's kind of where I see Camilla, is being kind of the merge sacrifice there to the Sivas and being like, hey, we'll cut our numbers down, but you're not going to take out one of the big time players for us. So that's kind of what I see with Camilla. And then my main man. I got them taking out Mitch. I think they're going to think, hey, this grouping here of Siva is too good to believe. You got all these Sivas that, I mean, they come in with 4 right to the merge. But then you get this strong pairing of Siva, or at least that's what I'm thinking of. Charity, Kyle, Mitch, strong pairing. There goes Mitch. I think Mitch will be the one, hey, we're going to take out another chunk of that Siva group. We like Charity, we like Kyle, but we're gonna take Mitch away from him just so they can come to our side now. And now they're gonna be working with us. I think they take Mitch away from him, but I still think Kyle and Charity are in a solid duo there. Then we go finally back to the Logi tribe. It's been a while. I think Logi, they offer up Eva. I think Eva is going to go out here at number 9, and that's just because Logi has 3 of my top 5. 3 of my top 5. And that probably just spoiled it because they only have 4 left. Logi, I think they're going to be a fun one to watch. But Eva, I think unfortunately for Eva, just the cards won't be there. It's not going to have enough. You might have Joe vote with Eva here. Maybe even Star and Thomas vote here. But I think ultimately somebody else is going to, whether that's the Vula teaming with Siva or whatever, they're going to take out one of them. And I just have it being Eva. Also with the Challenge Beast potential there with Eva and a good story there with Eva, more of a reason to take Eva out. Then you get to the Vula tribe. The Vula tribe at 8. Actually, we're going to stay at the Vula tribe for the next 3. 8, 7, and 6. All from Vula. And number 8 is Sai. Sai, I think, is probably the most dangerous one of this group in terms of winner potential. And I think people say, hey, Can't let it happen. Not going to happen. And that's unfortunate for Sai. I think Sai will be fun to watch on television, but I think we kind of get the short end of the stick here and lose out on Sai in the 8th spot. Then we go Cedric. Cedric, like I said, I think he's just going to be viewed as kind of that not the goofy uncle figure, but maybe the dad of the tribe, or he's just going to be somebody that people are loyal to or whatever. They're going to say, you know what, this Vula stuff, it's got to end. It's got to end. Vula looks too strong. And then they go after my man, Kevin. I'm rooting for Kevin, man, but I don't think it's happening for him. I think Kevin will end up going. And then we get the Siva versus Lagi battle in the top 5. That's what we get. We have 2 Sivas remaining and 2 Lagis remaining. Vula is gone. And then at number 5, we'll be taking a trip to the Lagi tribe. Yeah, not Siva, Lagi. Even though Lagi has a 3-person advantage, Siva able to flip a vote here, and they're able to get Thomas. They are able to get Thomas out, whether it is Star, whether it is Joe. More than likely, it would be Star here. I think Joe would be more likely to stay loyal to Thomas. I think you can get Star to flip, and then you have Star, Kyle, Charity voting Thomas, eliminating. Thomas will not be making it to Final Tribal. I'd be very concerned about Thomas. He seems very likable. Seems like a great storyteller. Seems like somebody that you don't want at the end because they will win. Thomas, out at 5. Don't let him get to Fire. I'd love to see Thomas make it to Fire and win, because I think he would ultimately potentially win the show. But if you're playing the game, he's somebody to watch out for. Thomas, I think, big time threat. So that's what I got at 5. I think they are able to flip somebody. And it might have been $1 million flip. It might have been $1 million flip for Kyle, Charity, or Star. Number 4. The fire making. I don't know who wins in the final immunity challenge. So the top 4 would be Joe, Kyle, Charity, Star. Let's say Charity wins. We're going to say Charity. Charity says, you know what? Everybody seems to love Star. Joe, everybody seems to love Joe. Kyle has probably played the best game. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put Joe and Kyle up against each other, because Joe, maybe we don't think he's kind of just been our not necessarily, he's just gone along with our plans. He's been that loyal guy. He hasn't really made any moves. But Kyle has orchestrated a lot of moves. We're going to put Kyle and Joe up and Fire. I think Joe wins the Fire. Kyle is out at 4. Kyle out at 4. This would be... Now, granted, this could be completely wrong, but the way I am imagining this in my head is like, if we can get this, and these characters are kind of what I'm thinking they might be, and the game players they might be, with Star, Charity, Joe, Kyle, Thomas, if they're all the players that I'm imagining they can be, whoo, there'd be a lot of fireworks in the last couple weeks. So there goes Kyle at Fire. So you get a top 3 of Star, Charity, and Joe. And coming at 3 with 0 votes, a 0-vote finalist, it's going to be Joe. Didn't make enough moves. Not enough people are impressed. People seem to like Joe on the jury, but they aren't voting for him. Didn't make the moves. Played a more loyal game. They're happy to give him 3rd. Then you get Charity and Star as your final 2. And I think this is going to be a close one. I think that this vote will be decided within maybe 2 or 3 votes. But ultimately, the sole survivor of season 48 is Star. Star wins, Charity in second, and that's how I see the season going. That's how I see the season going. I might be completely wrong in that. Let me know down below who you think is a big-time player. Maybe you think Justin's going to go all the way. I think Justin could be a fun player to watch, but I think he might come out the gate too hot. Shaheen, I'm hearing great things about Shaheen, but that worries me. That really does. That really does. I want to see it on TV. I don't want to hear all this pregame buzz because that makes me think we're trying to compensate for something. Shaheen, really nervous there. And also, everybody was talking about him in 46, so he's a player. Chrissy, I'll be rooting for you from Chicago, but I don't think Chrissy is going to win the show. If Chrissy does, I will be sitting there, the number one fan for Chrissy, but I don't think it's happening. I do not think it's happening. I think this is a good cast, though. I really do. I don't look at this cast necessarily and think, hey, so-and-so, it just doesn't seem like they'd be entertaining. Like Justin, I said I got bad vibes off him. I think he'd be good TV, though. I really do. Bianca got out early. I think also pretty good TV. Shaheen, Chrissy, I think Mary could be good TV. David, I'm a little skeptical about. Same with maybe Stephanie. Camilla, I think will be great TV. Mitch, I like Mitch. Not sure how great of a character he will be. Eva, I think, will be a big story within the season. It'll be fun to watch. Sai, I think, will be great. Cedric, maybe Cedric is one where might not necessarily be a huge character, more so just that reliable guy. Kind of like Mitch there. Kevin, I think Kevin's gonna be great. I think Kevin is gonna be up there with fan favorites. My apologies. Kyle. I was reading Kevin's name thinking of Kyle. Kyle's going to be up there with fan favorites. Kevin. Let me read my notes on Kevin again. Where did I put Kevin's notes? He's on Vulu. Oh, he's the one I like because he's the David and Goliath and Caleb stuff. Yeah. If he can do that, he'll be fun to watch. I'm not. I think I will like Kevin. Thomas, I think, will be fun TV. Kyle, I think, will be great TV. I really do. Joe, I think everybody's just gonna fall in love with Joe, and he'll be that guy everybody's rooting for. He might not get the job done, but everybody's gonna be rooting for him. Then you get Charity and Star, two of the ones that I think are gonna absolutely steal the season. So I think this is gonna be a good season. I might be wrong. We might address it later, and I'll do a reaction video and be like, why did I think Justin is going out number one? He won the game. I might sit there and be like, why did I think Chrissy? Why did I not support Chrissy more? I thought it was the writing was on the wall, but based off purely the bios and like the very limited stuff that I've just looked at, like the baseline stuff, their picture, the bios. Do they look like they're somebody that's going to be happy, joyful around other people, good relationship building? Is it saying it in the bios? I think we're in for a good season, though. I really do. So we'll see. We will see. Anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. I will be doing a Survivor recap after the show tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. This video will probably be uploaded in about an hour or two from now. But I hope you're looking forward to Survivor 48. It's going to be a fun time. I think we are in for a good season with a good cast, so it'll be pretty good. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Later this week, actually tomorrow morning, I think I will be doing a Combine video, players to watch out for in the NFL Combine. Each night besides Friday, I will be doing a Combine, people that made their name at the Combine, like, so not night one, but day one, people like, hey, they made themselves some money today, so watch out for that on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday will be a double, not a double upload, but like a double of Friday and Saturday. Friday I will be out of town. So I will not be able to record a video, but Saturday, Sunday, also I will be making a video. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.